When you think of leg spin, there's only one name that comes to mind: Shane Warne. The man who didn't just bowl a ball, he bewitched it. The man who turned cricket into a mystery, a drama that no one could solve. For over 15 years, Warne dominated world cricket. With each ball, he not only changed the game, but redefined what it meant to be a spinner. His deliveries weren't just about skill, they were about magic. Every time he stepped onto the field, you knew something extraordinary was about to happen. But what truly made Shane Warne the greatest spinner of all time? Was it his numbers, his iconic moments, or something deeper, something more magical that only a few could ever understand? Let's take a journey into the world of Shane Warne, a journey that will leave you in awe. The beginning of a legend. It all started in 1992 when a young, unknown leg spinner made his debut for Australia. At first, Warne wasn't the polished star we know today. He was raw, unrefined, and often a mystery even to his own team. But even back then, there was something different about him. Warne didn't just bowl, he attacked. He didn't just spin the ball, he made it dance. And that very first delivery to Mike Gadding, that delivery was a glimpse into what Warne was about to bring to the cricketing world. A ball that pitched outside leg, turned sharply, and clipped the top of the off stump. It became known as the ball of the century. And from that moment, Shane Warne was no longer just a bowler, he was a force of nature. But what made that ball so special? It wasn't just the turn, it was the idea behind it. Warne wasn't simply trying to bowl the ball into a spot, he was creating something impossible, and that's what set him apart. Warne was never just about the basics of leg spin, he made it an art form, the magic of his skill. But it wasn't just one delivery. Warne's career was filled with moments like that. Balls that made you stand up, re-watch, and say, how did he do that? He had a way of getting the ball to spin in ways no one thought possible. His control, his flight, his variations, they were all weapons in his magical arsenal. Let's talk about Warne's flights. Unlike most spinners who relied on getting the ball to turn off the pitch, Warne made the ball fly. His deliveries had loop and drift. They didn't just turn, they seemed to hang in the air, like time was slowing down for just a second. And then, with a sudden twist, they would crash into the stumps, or the batsman's bat, or often their confused face. He wasn't just about spinning the ball either. Warne understood that a good leg spinner also had to know how to read the batsman. He would change his pace, vary his flight, and always keep the batsman guessing. The secret to Warne's success wasn't just his wrist, it was his mind. He wasn't bowling to a batsman, he was thinking with them. Every delivery was like a chess move, a trap, a deception, and when the batsman fell for it, that was when Warne's magic took over. But what made Warne really special was his confidence. He didn't care who you were, whether you were Sachin Tendulkar or Brian Lara. He was going to bowl at you the same way. Fear was never in Warne's dictionary, and that's what made him such a menace. You could never intimidate him, and he loved the challenge. Iconic moments. Warne's career wasn't just about statistics, it was about moments. And the biggest of them all? His battle with India's master batsman, Sachin Tendulkar. The Warne-Tendulkar rivalry was one for the ages. Every time these two faced off, the world stopped to watch. And it wasn't just the sheer skill on display, it was the mental warfare. Tendulkar, a man known for his precise technique, was often seen trying to read Warne's magic, but Warne didn't play by the rules. He rewrote them. In 1998, Warne took one of the most famous wickets in cricket history when he got Tendulkar out in the Chennai Test. A delivery that seemed to defy physics. It pitched outside the leg stump, spun away, and knocked the off stump out of the ground. The look on Tendulkar's face said it all. He'd been beaten by the best. And then there was the 700 wicket milestone in 2007, when Warne became the first player in history to take 700 test wickets. It wasn't just a statistic, it was a testament to his persistence, his brilliance, and his unwavering love for the game. But those weren't the only iconic moments. Warne was a man who lived for the big occasion. His spell in the 1999 World Cup, his record-breaking performance in the Ashes, his miraculous comeback in 2004. Warne knew how to turn a game with one delivery, one over, one session. And that's what made him so dangerous. In the world of cricket, no moment was too big for Warne to conquer. The secret of his legacy. So what made Shane Warne the greatest spinner of all time? Sure, the stats back it up. 708 test wickets, 293 ODI wickets, countless records. But it's something deeper. It's how he transformed leg spin from a forgotten art into the most exciting part of the game. It's how he changed how we view spin bowling. Before Warne, leg spin was seen as a dying art. After Warne, it was the crown jewel of bowling. Warne didn't just bowl to get wickets, he bowled to entertain, he bowled to shock the batsman, to create a moment that would make the crowd gasp. Every time he bowled, you knew something could happen, and when it did, it often left you in awe. He turned every match into a spectacle, and every wicket he took felt like an achievement that cricket fans would cherish forever. And perhaps the greatest thing about Warne, it wasn't just his bowling that made him great, it was his personality. He was charismatic, larger than life. Whether on the field or off it, he was never afraid to show his true self. That made him relatable, lovable, and admired by millions around the world. Warne wasn't just a cricketer, he was an icon with a lasting impact. Today, Shane Warne's legacy lives on. He's no longer with us, but his influence on the game is eternal. Every leg spinner who steps onto the field, every player who tries to master the art of spin bowling carries Warne's influence with them. His records, his achievements, and his moments of magic continue to inspire a new generation of bowlers. But can anyone really take his crown? It's a tough ask. Warne's record, his skill, and his unique approach to spin bowling have set a bar that few can even dream of reaching. Sure, there are other great spinners, Rashid Khan, Nathan Lyon, and even the likes of Mutia Muralitharan, but the magic that Warne brought to the game, that's something you can't replicate. Conclusion: Shane Warne wasn't just the greatest spinner of all time, he was the greatest magician the cricket world has ever seen. His legacy isn't just in the wickets he took or the records he broke, it's in the way he made spin bowling thrilling, the way he turned the impossible into the unforgettable. And that, my friends, is what made Shane Warne the greatest spinner of all time, a legend who will never be forgotten.